I've put stuff in place sometimes and they haven't worked. And I know as independent hotelier, that's back on me. The team know I've delivered it in an HOD meeting. This is the plan. These are the new rates. This is the structure. This is what we're driving for. This is why we're doing it. This is because we believe in it. And actually, I've got the market wrong, or I've got the demographic wrong. I've got the time of the year wrong. I've got the energy crisis wrong. I've got it all. And us being arrogant and egotistic in the business to know and value our product and elevate things too much to push the profits of the business forward, not at the detriment of the staff, but actually to see sometimes that doesn't work.
You're listening to the Life and Leadership Podcast, where leaders from across the globe share openly about the trials, triumphs, and lessons learned along their leadership journey. Whether you're a seasoned, new, or aspiring leader, get ready to receive powerful insights and practical takeaways to help you grow in your leadership. And now, here is your host, Mary Eniolu.
So, what is leadership to you?
I've covered a lot of it, I suppose, in the talking of it there. But it's three components. You just got to listen. You've just got to process the information, and you just got to do stuff together. I think is the best way I can put the three elements, if you like, together to say that that's the best way to do it. So lead by example. Yes, of course it is. Opening a door, saying sir and madam, and just showing your moral and your etiquette is on point, and your understanding to what the problems are that people might be facing. So just to make sure you're sensitive to it, you're emotionally attached to it, but equally emotionally detached from it. Sometimes people don't want to be too empowered by the leader or the general manager getting too involved in them personally, but showing an awareness of the situation is really powerful, but finding that line to stop. So just listening, what's going on, processing around them, and collaborating it together, not trying to lead by show and tell. I don't like that. I don't like that myself. And I suppose if you don't like something yourself, that would speak volumes to not do it to somebody else. Don't treat others like you don't want to be treated yourself. So
yeah, absolutely.
Overpowering, and as I say, I've been through it all before, and you may have well in your career as well. You find out what you do and you don't like, and if the more likes of management or information you're given, implant that into your own leadership. Yeah.
No, I think the listening piece is key for a leader. John Maxwell, again, wrote a book called Good Leaders Ask Great Questions. And if you're going to ask great questions, you better be listening to the answers to those questions, because that's what's going to empower you to actually lead the people you're leading. Otherwise, you're coming from a place of ignorance. You don't know what's going on. You're just, like you say, telling and bullying and shoving, but you have no idea what's really going on. You don't have a pulse on the temperature of what's actually going on, but you get that pulse by listening. And I love what you were saying about, again, I love quoting John Maxwell because I respect him so much as a leader and a leadership expert. He says you have to be close enough to people to care for them, but far away enough to lead them.
And I think that's why I love experienced people that focus on a sector like John Maxwell, or people that have had this experience to do that, because it resonates to me, not as experienced as him, to go, well, I believe in listening, is that right? But why do I think that's right? And he's showing that that's the reason to be. It's proven, it's shown that you've got to find that attachment and detachment level that suits and it's relevant to who I am in their life. We're very close in independent business, but you don't need to be any closer than it is professionally. But allowing that compassion to know what people are experiencing, what they're going through, to help balance everything in their lifestyle and their position at work, because our longevity of staff here is fantastic, and I feel really proud about it. Like I said, I've done here for 11 years, led it for 6. Proprietor's been here for years. We've got people of 14, 15 years, head chefs still here for 14 years, because they felt engaged in it. This guy could go and do rosette level chef wherever he wants to. Why doesn't he? I don't know. There's something here when we talk to them it suits their lifestyle, because that's what you hear quite a lot. And we say hospitality is a lifestyle.
I know what you mean. It's not all, airy-fairy and holding our hands and singing Kumbaya around the fire. It's not, that's not what it's about. It's, at the end of the day, it's a business, but this is great business strategy. Being people-centric and taking care of your people is great strategy for business. I really believe it is. I mean, they say culture trumps strategy all the time. I say make culture your strategy. Actually, make having a great culture, make that a strategy.
Totally that. And employing the people and training the skill is, I think, is massive here. You could find people that can come out of the industry for 20 years, but may not be the right fit for the culture of the hotel here, because they're led in such a different way. It's been so corporate, commercial, and railroaded, and they can't be autonomous in any way, shape or form, and they really struggle in an independent sector. But people that come into it from the ground, that have come either prior or through uni or supervisory to management level in the similar sector and allowed to sort of flourish and go, well, I can serve that room like that, or I can set it like this, or I can choose the way I'm going to do the table structure tonight, and I'm going to choose what menu I'm going to do now. Absolutely. But you can't just be vague and say, just run the kitchen for me, chef. Just run the restaurant. Just run the reservations for me. Just do the rates this week. It's too open. They can try, they can fail, but they need some sort of direction.
If you're enjoying this conversation, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. That will help us bring more inspiring conversations to you and reach more people. And if you know of a leader that should be featured on the Life and Leadership podcast, please reach out to us with their details. We would love to hear from you.
Wonderful. So if I was to ask you to give me 3 traits you think every good leader should have, what would those 3 be?
Blimey, I think an experience in the sector, because I think if you can find people that transition from different jobs or different careers into be a leader. You could be a manager in one capacity, one job, and then become a manager in another capacity in hospitality. Is a very hard thing to try and do. So you've got to have industry experience to know how you're going to lead that area. Compassion, certainly, I think is something. What that means is to sort of be understanding when tough times come, but equally be ready to push that person, like I've experienced before, and be able to know how I mentioned before this GM how it worked for me, and how he was the leader that I have latched onto, because he managed to be compassionate to, in his own belief, what he wanted me to achieve, but equally give me the criticism when it was there. But it worked itself out because he was critical, but he was compassionate and motivated. And I think you just got to be very driven. You've got to be very driven to want to do it. You've got to want to do it. You can't, if you haven't got those traits in you naturally as a person, I think it's hard. People see through you. So you've got to want to do it, and it's very natural.
I love those 3. Love those. I know as a leader, you will have had difficult times. That they say there's not 2 easy days for a leader. So I want you to share with us a really trying or difficult situation that you had to face as a leader, or a failure. I put failure in quotes, and how you dealt with it, how you overcame it, and the lessons you learned from that experience.
Gosh, yeah, I suppose a lot of the failure is balanced with some of the success, I think, on so many levels, because I don't see failure as a weakness. I've always thought I've got to face that. Like I've said before, I've got to work it out. I haven't got a crisis example that I've felt I've faced and had to work out. I've felt I've failed at. I think it was the decisions when you are put in a position of responsibility to make a decision for a business. And over that period of time, where it's a rate change, or whether it's a position change, whether it's a team structure change, whether you're looking at it too personally to protect the revenue of the business and the welfare of the staff, those situations sometimes cross over and concern me quite a bit, where you feel, have I failed? Is this working? So I suppose it's like a soft anxiety of failure is what I'm trying to explain here. Going, I've put stuff in place sometimes and they haven't worked, and I know as independent hotelier, that's back on me. The team know I've delivered it in an HOD meeting. This is the plan. These are the new rates. This is the structure. This is what we're driving for. This is why we're doing it. This is because we believe in it. and actually I've got the market wrong, or I've got the demographic wrong, I've got the time of the year wrong, I've got the energy crisis wrong, and us being arrogant and egotistic in the business to know and value our product and elevate things too much to push the profits of the business forward, not at the detriment of the staff, but actually to see sometimes that doesn't work. And that worries me as I think any GM will be worrying to think, am I doing the right job here? Is this going to work for my investors or my people or my staff or my team? So I think it's ongoing, Mary, is what I'm trying to say.
Let's stay with that scenario you were painting, where it might just be something as simple as you're bringing in a new strategy, and like you say, you overlook something, or you didn't anticipate something that then comes up and it doesn't work out as well as it could have, or as you expected it to. And like you say, you've already told the team this is what we're doing, and then everybody's going, well, we're doing it, it's not working. How do you handle that? And I love what you say about failure, because I always say failure is part of success. It's one and the same thing. It's just the flip side of the coin. You cannot experience success if you don't experience failure. And that's why I love to ask this question, just to help people demystify failure and get rid of this shame and this discomfort that people have around the word failure. It's fine to fail. Failure is not final,
It is, and don't worry, Mary, just don't worry and don't hide is probably the two things. So yeah, absolutely. When I realise I've got to that trigger point of thinking, okay, the reports aren't looking great, staff morale is feeling a little bit, or you just get a sense, you just know it, you just feel it's not quite right, and there's a reason, it's rumbling. And sometimes, as collaborative as it can be at the top, if you like, it's also very lonely, and it can be, because no one will ever come and tell you directly. You've got the supervisors, the team leaders, the team, the groups, the housekeeping will talk to revenue, and reception will talk to kitchen, and you get this collaboration of it'll implode if you don't capture it. And I think that's the beauty that I love, being an active operational general manager, not a financial auditing general manager and a structural GM, that we communicate it and I bring it together. And it might well be a 2-week lead time, and now we need an HOD meeting, please. And I'll put hands up and I'll explain to them. And I've literally been doing it, as I mentioned, since the new year. And that's what we're doing. We're facing it, we're working things out, and we're doing restructures. We're moving 2 teams into one. We're realigning a few things, but I'm always conscious of, is this the right thing for me? Is it the right thing for the business? Is it the right thing for the staff? And all of those 3 elements I have to keep linking together when I'm working out how to propose it to people. But we will work through it together, and it's I will generally manage a situation. That's what it's for. But I'll only make those decisions on the information I'm given by the team that give me the information, because they're the ones that see it and feel it, and I can see it retrospectively sometimes. And it's been a bear to face that and decide that.
No, love that. So keep communicating, put your hands up, don't hide, don't pretend.
no, because it's short-lived. You'll get through it for a while, and we'll face it together.
Yeah, awesome. So tell me about your first experience stepping into leadership. Was it easy? Did you find it difficult? Were you excited? Were you petrified?
Both, all 3, the whole lot, all of it, Mary, all of it, because it was done in a different way. It was done in a kind of a global audience fashion. It wasn't sort of an interview for a promotion within a company just to sort of go for a new role, and all of a sudden it's issued to you and you're let to just go into that new role on the 2 weeks on the Monday. This was done in an HOD meeting, and my first time going from an employee into sort of duty manager role in the previous hotel. And it was done by the owner of the group and the owner of the hotel to the whole team, 17 members of staff in there, all the admin, head chefs, people that were 15, 20 years experience above me. And it was issued out to be highlighted in a group meeting room in front of the whole board of the directors of the company and managers at the time, of what my role was going to be. And from that, leaving that meeting, it felt like, I've got to do it now, the same afternoon. I've got to show why this has happened, because they weren't all interviewed and they didn't have a voice to choose whether I was going to be promoted and take a senior lead. That technically during that shift I was in charge of all of them, from the head chef, the head housekeeper, the spa manager, the maintenance team manager, all the guests, anything that happened, I had to show that I had the minerals to deliver any problem that would happen on that shift for the rest of my career. It was now publicly announced that I was senior, I was in charge. I've got to do something important here. So it was scary, but goddamn exciting and really proud. I was really proud, Mary, really proud, because I really wanted it, and I wanted to see that I could achieve in front of other people or with other people as well, and support them. Not just be, okay, great, this is my ship now and this is my control. It was like, right, what do you need? I can help you now. We can do this. Let's make a plan. I've really felt I could have a voice now to sort of collaborate and do that with them. So it was scary because it was publicly announced and I had to deliver it, but equally, yeah, really exciting. And I really did enjoy that.
Wonderful. I mean, leadership is such a powerful thing, isn't it? Like you say, it's a trust. When you're put in that position of leadership, it's a trust, and it's affirmation as well. Somebody's seeing that you have that ability.
It feels good, Mary. It feels good, doesn't it? Yeah.
What advice would you give to someone who is just stepping into leadership?
I think I mentioned it half an hour ago. So, Mary, don't try and do it all yourself. Don't try and lead yourself by yourself for yourself. Lead by understanding you're in that position, that people look to you for leadership. They don't look for you to do it for them. They look for you to the leadership. So leading someone. Management is different than leadership. Management is making a decision. Final, whether you like it or not, it's a decision made. That's what it's going to be, Mary. Leadership is leading to something. It's a directional route. So that's not to try and do it. Be confident to say to those teamwork or those people, that teamwork, that you're going to do it with them.
I love that. It actually shows you are confident when you can open up and say, I need you to work with me to do this. It's not otherwise. It's not showing a lack of confidence, which is how I think some leaders see it. When they ask for help, they interpret that to mean people will think I'm not confident, but it's actually showing confidence.
Yep. And that's why, and also hand in hand, Mary, that's why I said it goes with experience earlier on, because they want those answers. You have to have a bit of experience in that sector, whether it's in the restaurant, kitchen, housekeeping, management, structural, admin. You've got to have a bit of collateral behind you to know that it'll work before you can lead that person. Otherwise, you're giving them to do, but it's the wrong thing. It's the wrong decision. It's the wrong advice. So, yeah, having a bit of experience helps.
Thank you so much, Mike. It's been wonderful having this conversation with you. I'm going to ask you one final question.
Go for it.
What's the most important piece of advice you've ever received? So this is not particularly with respect to leadership or professional life or anything, but what would you say is the most important piece of advice you've ever received, looking back?
Oh gosh, goodness me. I think that just that it'll be okay. Don't stop stressing, stop worrying about it. My wife will tell me, don't worry. But Grace, with my younger daughter, don't worry, Daddy, it'll be okay. You'll sort it out. It's just advice that you bypass too easily. And you think, no, I've got to worry. I've got to be. It's difficult. I've got to worry, because if I don't worry, it won't be right. So don't worry, and it'll be okay.
I love that. It's great advice. No, it really is great advice. Corrie ten Boom said, "Worry does not empty tomorrow of pain, but it empties today of strength."
When somebody asks me, Mary, in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, I'm going to use that. I'm going to use that.
It's so powerful. It doesn't add anything to our lives. It just empties today of our strength, because it just drains your energy. So I think don't worry is great advice. Thank you again so much, Mike, for joining us on the Life and Leadership podcast. It's been amazing having you on.
That's been brilliant. It's great and great success to see you providing to everybody. Thank you very much, Mary.
Thank you.
The Life and Leadership podcast is brought to you by Can Do Academy, where we help organizations develop high-performing teams and extraordinary leaders. To find out more about our work, visit candoacademy.net. See you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Life and Leadership podcast. If you enjoyed the conversation, hit the subscribe button. That will help us reach more people and inspire more leaders. See you on the next episode.